Yeah, I mean, I think Shota's been throwing the ball well. He had, that little maybe 3-start stretch where didn't go so well, but him and Colin have been the two guys that kind of have been able to take the ball every fifth day, and we've obviously needed that. And then I think always feel with Shota there's a chance you can get that length in the game from a starter that we need.
When you in spring training had mentioned to him like he needs to punch back this year, with at least the way he started this season, more what you had in mind?
No, I think Shota's pitched well. I mean, I think he's gotten kind of hurt by a couple starts, but I think overall he's pitched really well.
What have you made about how Conforto has swung the bat lately?
Yeah, I mean, I think Michael's been a solid contributor all season, and we're somewhat lacking left-handed bats, so I think it's like the fact that we've gotten such good production from him has been important to us, I think. The way the season kind of has gone with Moises going back to AAA, it's opened up some pretty regular playing time for him, and he's responded well from it.
You have a lot of veteran guys on this roster, but he's another guy who's been around. How does that kind of help behind the scenes in the clubhouse?
Yeah, I mean, Michael's a pro. I mean, I think he's ready to do whatever. I think the best thing he did is kind of like he came into the season with just really, I don't want to say no expectations, but expectations to just enjoy playing Major League Baseball. Whatever the role is what the role is. And then he's basically earned at bats, and it's been good for us and good for him, and he's having a nice bounce back season.
He said during he's been hitting well, and he said he didn't feel like he was hitting well in the last couple of series. He's just like taking frustration out now. From your perspective, what do you see in his bats that you think is coming through?
Yeah, I mean, Seiya's, he's such a good hitter, and I think he has high expectations for himself. The ability to change the game with one swing is something he can do. And he had some big swings this past week in Baltimore, and so a good Seiya is always the key to us being a good offense.
Tito was asked about all of the injuries that you guys have overcome and are in the position you're in, and he said a lot of that is a credit to your versatility, both in terms of defense and throughout your bullpen. How from your perspective, do you agree with that?
Yeah, our defense, I think, is definitely a factor in. It just helps your pitching. It doesn't. You can go to the Baltimore series and the St. Louis series and just see examples of plays and runs taken off the board from our defense. They just make your pitchers better. From a pitching perspective, it's been a revolving door. We've had a lot of new faces, and some people have really stepped up in those opportunities and done a really good job. And I think that's a reason why we're here as well. And then, I think some guys have continued on the pitching side, like Colin has continued just to be a kind of a consistent, start maker for us that's just done the job and kept us in games and won us a bunch of games.
JMO will be able to step right in after the break, or will he take?
Well, he's starting Saturday, and then the plan would be should that go well, and should he come out of that with health, he would return to the rotation.
All things considered, with the injuries and Bregman not having a good first half, that you've got to be pretty satisfied with where you're at right now. Or maybe not satisfied.
Yeah, look, I think we've got a decent record, right? And I think we've put ourselves in a pretty good position. That doesn't guarantee us anything going forward, and our injuries are not. We're not going to come back from the break and be finished with the injuries. We've still got injury issues, and we've got a ways to get, what I would consider back to, I think every team has some injuries, but get back to kind of medium strength. We're still at a pretty big deficit after the break.
Do you believe a guy like Bregman or any guy that struggled in the first half can just reset once the second half starts, like starting over? Or is
I,
that not?
I don't know if it's. I don't know if the second. I think Alex is going to have a strong rest of the season. I don't know if the All-Star break is going to be the marker for it. I thought he had a pretty strong series in Baltimore, so hopefully that's the start of it. But I do think Alex is going to have a really good second half.
Matt Shaw's program look like at this point?
Yeah, he's the next test is probably tomorrow. He'll try to swing again. He'll test it again, I should say, and to anticipate just starting swinging after the break. And then once we're symptom free, it's going to go really fast with Matt. So I think we should, we just got to get symptom free. He's just going to test it, so like it's not necessarily just do wrist testing and dry swings. Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Any other injuries? Like up this weekend, Mario, Shota, everyone else is more progress than after the break. I don't think there's any other things to have time over the next few days.
Over the next few days, I wouldn't say there's anything. Yeah, anything. Yeah.
And I know you've been asked a lot about Pete. I wonder if you could almost try to describe, like, because, some of the games, it's almost like wasting. You just want to keep going at times through those stretches, but it feels like what he's, just the consistency he's finding in himself swing. I'm curious if there's a way that you can describe what you see as a player and just what you're getting every day from him. It's interesting. It looks different than what we used to see in the past. You know what I mean? It's sometimes we heard describe.
Yeah, I mean, look, Pete's shown everybody a lot of different versions of himself, and I think we can all agree like this is the best version that we've seen of Pete. Now, at some point in the future, he's going to struggle, right? Like that's this game. That's to be expected. But I think he's raised the bar for what he can do, and I think that's the best thing is just kind of like raising the bar of like kind of what your floor is, and that's what the pitch discipline will do for him. So he's in a really good. His at bats are at a different level than they were say at this time last year. I remember he had a great series here in Cincinnati. His at bats they're just better at bats, and it's not necessarily the long ball in this case. It's just the at bats against left-handed pitching have changed dramatically. I think we all see that. The strike zone control has changed significantly, so it's just a better version of Pete, and I think that creates a much higher floor for what we're going to see from him throughout the rest of the year.